All right, guys, I know you are incredibly sad because this will be the last example that we use with your foldables. So this is the end of the trigonometric identities. All right, so on this one, we're actually going to be using the sum to product identities. You can see here we have a sign plus another sign. So when you get started on this, you're actually going to begin by saying, okay, I need something that says sine of x plus sine of y. When you look at your foldable, you will see sine x plus sine y, which is 2 times the sine of x plus y divided by 2 times the sine times the cosine of x minus y divided by 2. Okay, you'll have access to your foldable, so this should be pretty straightforward. Let's actually work this problem. So I have it rewritten again right here in front of us, and I'm simply going to replace. So I've got 2 sine of. Now for this next thing, it's supposed to be x plus y divided by 2. Well, my x is going to be 5 pi over 12. Okay, 5 pi over 12. My y will be pi over 12. Okay, then I have cosine times 5 pi over 12 minus pi over 12. Okay, and then I'm just going to start simplifying things. Now, keep in mind, before we go any further, if you come back and look at this problem originally, you could have worked at the very beginning of this section using sum and difference identities. You could have possibly used this with actually half angle identities. You've got several different options here. So on your assessment this week, it's specifically going to tell you which identities to use. You will have to write some of this down and submit it in your own handwriting, so that way I know that you're actually doing it and not using something else to assist you. All right, so when I look at this and I'm simplifying it, I'll have 2 times the sine of, okay, I'm going to add 5 pi over 12 plus pi over 12 gives me 6 pi over 12 divided by 2. We are going to simplify that. And then this is times the cosine of 4 pi over 12 divided by 2. Okay? We're going to use that nice little trick here where we combine denominators. In case if you have forgotten that, I'm going to remind you once again that 2 is over 1. So if I multiply that by the reciprocal, 1 over 2, these cancel, and it's like having 6 pi over 24. The shortcut to that is simply multiplying those denominators together. That's a nice little trick to have here. So this is going to equal 2 times the sine of 6 pi over 24 times the cosine of 4 pi over 24. Okay, I'm actually going to take this, move it to the next page real quick. So 2 times the sine of 6 pi over 24 times the cosine of 4 pi over 24. Now I am going to reduce these fractions. So 6 over 24 definitely reduces to 1/4, right? Which we can write as pi over 4. And then 4 pi over 24 reduces to pi over 6. So when I simplify this, I can actually calculate what the sine of pi over 4 is, I hope. Square root of 2 over 2. That comes from the unit circle or from that little chart that you have to know, okay? And then the second thing is the cosine of pi over 6, okay? So back to the chart. When I solve for that, I'll get radical 3 over 2. So all I have left to do is multiply all the way across. And that will give me square root of 6 over 2. And that's your final answer.